So recording has started. So I would like to thank everyone to join this webinar of today. It is basically for Contol-M, which is one of BMC Software's orchestration tool. The agenda is quite packed, and the timing that we have for today's session is around 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. If we finish early, we will try to give back as much time as possible. So the agenda today is we'll go through with some introductions from us and BTT, Blue Turtle. We'll go ahead with BMC Software and the association with Blue Turtle around in the African region, our autonomous digital enterprise vision and Contol-M relevancy for any enterprise. We'll also highlight the version 21 capabilities and features and functions. After that, we'll have a small break. After the break, we'll come back and run a demo going into cloud and containers, some exciting stuff over there with regards to new features and functions. Before we end the entire, let's say, the webinar, we'll run you through the innovation roadmap as well. So just to introduce the team, my name is Humayun Mohammed. I'm basically the product account manager taking care of the Middle East, Turkey, and Africa region. With me, we have the rest of the BMC team. We have Principal Solution Marketing Manager in Flora. We have Mamadou Dieye, who is our solution engineer, along with Munir Hussain. And from the other management aspect, from the business unit, we have Fabiana, and we do have Frederick Lassau on the call as well. Harry, would you like to take care of this slide, please?
Yeah, thanks, man. Again, I just want to say a big welcome to everybody for today's session. As Humayun mentioned, we'll be digging around some of the new functionality and the new release capabilities within version 21, as well as look at some of the hot topics that are on the go around cloud and virtualization. So before we get started, let me quickly introduce the Blue Turtle Contol-M team to you. Some of them you may know very well, and you get the pleasure of working with them on a frequent basis. So if we look at the top there, we see Simon Shaw. Simon Shaw heads up the BMC business unit or Blue Turtle Technologies. On the bottom there, from left to right, we've got myself. I'm Harry Nicholson. I'm the product manager for Contol-M. Next to me, we've got the 4 key elements to our Contol-M setup. These guys are very important in the way Contol-M gets run. They come with a pack of experience and skilled technical specialists, that they would be called, and their core focus is built around the actual Contol-M solution. We've got Chanti Mitchell, Petri Fenter, and Francois Kotze. They head up our technical team within the Joburg region. And then we've got our Cape Town guru, Heng Chompi. He's servicing all our Cape Town clients. Cool. Next slide, please, Munir. Thanks. So as you guys may or may not be aware, Blue Turtle has kind of partnered with BMC for close to almost 20 years now. And this has entailed, supporting a large number of our Contol-M customers for many years now. And that journey has allowed us to build a trust and support structure that most of you guys have come accustomed to with Blue Turtle Technologies. And through this partnership, we kind of want to aim at bringing a foundation where we provide you with a technology solution that takes into account the diversity of new platforms. Not only the diversity of new platforms, such as your cloud and your virtualization platforms, such as your containers, but also the diverse, complex nature of the data landscape. And this is all built around, how do we enable you to deploy your applications more in a quicker fashion, in a more secure and efficient manner. So through our Contol-M solution, we provide you with continuous innovation. through the automation API capabilities that Contol-M has to offer. And you get access to the necessary governance and audit capabilities which are pre-built into the solution. Kind of ensures that you get or you meet those compliance requirements that you may have from auditors, etc., and standards that get set. So that's pretty much from everything from my side. If you have any questions, I encourage you to please, if you can just jot that down in the chat. We'll get to those questions. They'll either be answered on the chat side itself, or we'll dig into those questions towards the end. Please feel free to do that at any time. And without further ado, let me hand you back to Humayun so we can get into the good stuff. Thanks. Enjoy. Thanks, Humayun.
All right. Thank you, Harry. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. So before we start with the actual content, let me share my screen. We would be running a short survey through Mentimeter. So let me start sharing my screen, please, and let me know once you start seeing it. One second, please. I think we have a technical problem here. Let's stop. Okay, continue. There you go. Harry, can everyone see the Mentimeter? If you can use your mobile phone, please. If you want to use your regular laptop, you can go to www.menti.com, enter the code, and you'll basically arrive into the survey. Or you can just use the mobile phone, scan the QR code with the camera, and then it'll take you to the survey as well. So we'll give it a minute for everyone to sign in. Yes, please. Another thing, once you sign in, just click on the heart so that we know how much you love us. Oops. Okay, we have 16. Hey, are we good with this number or?
Yeah, I think let's proceed.
Let's proceed. All right, perfect. So let's just give it another 10 seconds because I do see the number increasing. So if it holds still for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that's cool. Okay, there you go, another 20th. Right, so the first question is, what is the name of your company? If you can please just type it in, that would be great. I won't ask you to type things later in the other questions. There would be selections, but just this one, please. Yes, we know Blue Turtle is on the call. Awesome. All right, we got 16 answers. Copy that. All right, thank you for that. So the next question is, this is related to your Control-M state. So here we would like to know which version you are currently using in production. Okay, that's great. We have a majority on V20. We already have V21 as well, which is also awesome. All right, let's go to the next one. So within Control-M, you all probably are aware of the automation API function and feature. We wanted to understand if amongst your environment, how important this is for the sake of your production environment and taking care of and utilizing the API of Control-M into your day-to-day basis. Totally, 8. I like the answers. Thank you. See, 11, 14, 2 more to stay on the average of 16 for the past 2 slides. Right, it's great to know that we have 0 on the automation API, what it is. So it shows that we are well versed on understanding what the automation API is for and how is it utilized. Thank you. Let's go ahead to the next one. This is also an important aspect of Control-M, which primarily allows our customers to create and build their own integrations into their applications on the landscape without having to be, let's say, having the limitation or dependency on BMC. From our side, of course, we do have our integration factory, which churns out on an average between 5 to 10 integrations every month. But the application integrator is something that allows you to create your own skeletons when it comes to job integrations to technologies that you use in your environment. So those are good answers. Thank you so much. Let's go to, I think this is the second last. So this is related to the ones who have answered that are still on V19 and V20. What are your plans for the upgrade to V21? Okay, I think I'd rather wait for a fix back. Okay. For the summer. All right, thank you. Last but not least, this is just for us to understand more around your environment and possibly a takeaway for ours to come back to you and provide you better integrations and better use of Control-M amongst the technologies listed on the bottom on the screen. So please, if you can just select the ones that are being utilized in your environment, it will help us elevate your experience with Control-M. All right, that's perfect. 15, just one more, and we'll reach the mark of 16, which has been the mark in the last questions. Okay. Someone try to admit. All right, I think that's the last one. Thank you so much. Marie, if you can share your screen back, that would be great. All right, perfect. Let's move to the next slide, Munir, please. You can build the entire slide. Okay, so Control-M, workload automation, what we see is we divide it into 2 areas, right? This is where we talk about the running side or the traditional, let's say, orchestration scheduling side. And the other side is the running and reinventing side, or the modern approach for orchestration. For more than 30 years, if we go to the history of it, we're providing our customers with a way to automate and orchestrate their application workflows, right? Now, Control-M as a workload orchestration tool provides customers with the ability to have a modern platform, which is robust, scalable, platform agnostic engine managed seamlessly via one enterprise-wide interface layer, which primarily helps the customers to have a single pane of glass at the end of the day. It also has the facility to provide end-to-end orchestration across multiple environments, which means Control-M integrates, automates, and orchestrates application workflows based on premise in the public or private clouds. So your jobs and businesses and services are delivered on time, every time. Now, having said that, one of the most important aspects of Control-M is the single unified view, where you can orchestrate all your workflows, including file transfers, applications, data sources, and infrastructure with this rich library of plugins that we will speak about in the coming slides. Okay, providing different users. This is the aspect where we work on the personas in organizations. So in order for them to interact with the orchestration layer, to get the additional awareness of their applications and the processes which are related to their day-to-day business with the applicable SLA management. For example, as time changed, applications and technologies continue to evolve. So this is where us people in BMC software, our strong R&D comes into play, which is responsible of making sure Contol-M provides the best-in-class orchestration integrations to any of the, let's say, application landscape that you may have in your organization. Now, also, we need to understand, or let's say we need to give one more aspect in importance, which is the journey to not just simplify and scale data pipelines or embedding an orchestration layer within your DevOps toolchain, but also simplifying and automating business application delivery. Easily provisioning in any cloud, Contol-M leverages the ephemeral capabilities of cloud computing, which is the trend these days, and we are right up there when it comes to supporting any kind of cloud initiative. Of course, you may have cloud initiative based on your strategy, meaning you might want to shift left, you might want to take Contol-M of on-prem and host it in the cloud, or you might even want to go ahead with our SaaS offering. So as I said, we constantly strive to make sure that we are out there in the market, leading the pack ahead of the requirements that our customers would want to have in our orchestration tool and deliver it on time. Next slide, please. So here, probably some of you may have heard about this. This is primarily our, let's say, direction or strategy to help our customers become an autonomous digital enterprise. What does autonomous digital enterprise entails? It primarily entails 5 tenets, which are on the right side. You can see automation everywhere. You see enterprise DevOps, data-driven business, ability to adaptive cybersecurity, and last but not least, with a combination of all these, providing a transcendent customer experience to your customers. And similarly, us providing that experience to you, because you, as our customers, would require that. Now, when it comes to Contol-M, as I said, it is the answer to end-to-end orchestration that simplifies complex application data and file transfer workloads. It also helps you run a CI/CD automation toolchain to accelerate your DevOps teams with automation API, as you may have heard before, adopting to any modern approach. It has that jobs as code methodology, which helps because that was something that was missing for some time in the past, that every other application out there, when it comes to developing code or when it comes to developing artifacts, which are required for features and functions to be included in that application by business line. Similarly, Contol-M required that exposure to other teams. So we basically help those other teams by exposing Contol-M through our automation API, making sure Contol-M becomes part of your CI/CD pipeline. And Contol-M also integrates with your other development tools, such as Team Foundation for collaboration, GitHub for repositories, and even serve versioning control systems. This basically primarily helps you in the enterprise DevOps area, where churning out new integrations and going into production at scale with the new requirements becomes easier, and Contol-M becomes part of your conveyor belt effect, which you require when you want to move promote workload from one environment to another. Now, other than that, when it comes to Contol-M's other activities, as you may also have heard before, or you may be utilizing, is the file transfer. And this year with V21, we have enhanced and improved and incorporated new features and functions. During this webinar, we have a specific demo. My colleague Mamadou and Munir will take care of that. We'll walk you through the new functions and features of them. Another aspect that we strive for success is the data pipeline orchestration, which we understand is required for our customers to drive data-based business outcomes. So here, based on our integrations, based on the world-class orchestration technology and a single pane of glass approach, we provide our customers best-in-class orchestration for their data pipelines, whether they're coming from, let's say, off-the-shelf source applications or core applications, or even in-house built core applications. However, when it comes to the storing of the data, when it comes to churning of the data through different data warehouse tools, and all the way up to making sure the business intelligence reporting runs on the right data in order to provide day in, day out, the right reports to the different business lines that your organization may have and require those reports on time. You can go ahead to the next one, please. So these are just certain challenges. Of course, every organization may have different challenges, but what we have seen from our customers, these are those most common challenges when it comes to automation. And when I say automation, I'm specifically speaking about process orchestration and automation. I'm not talking about, because automation is a general word, but here we're talking about with respect to Control-M. So the idea around Control-M is again the same, in order to provide you a single pane of glass ability to let's say, harmoniously run heterogeneous systems and interfaces through a single platform, making sure the repeatability, stability, and scalability is up to the mark as it is required, instead of waiting for change controls to be implemented in production due to a platform's lesser capability. Control-M is right up there and provides you that capability. Now, again, there are other challenges as well, such as these processes which are running in production. You would like a system which is able to trace it, which is able to provide your security standards on it, and also be able to provide the general regulatory compliance. Last but not least, I would emphasize on it, and again, as I said, that V21 has new features and functions on it. Control-M is also a very strong and robust file transfer. It's a managed file transfer platform with the ability of B2B and so many other things that an organization may require. Now, coming to the use cases, coming to the most popular use cases that Control-M helps in organizations. Again, these are not limited, but these are those high-level use cases that we have seen regardless of the industry vertical. For example, banking, financial services institutes, retail, oil and gas, utilities, telcos. Each and every use case over here is applicable to those organizations, all the way from consolidating the entire batch lineup. Instead of having multiple tool sets, you have Control-M sitting on top of all of your technology stack, whether it's related to infrastructure, application, or let's say the data. Its ability to interact with any of those areas within the technology stack, within the application landscape, ability to transfer, to execute, to process the batches as they are required. The second most important use case that we have seen is the file transfer, whether it's internal or business to business, where Control-M has that capability. Third one, as I said, these days, it's very, very important, which is data pipeline orchestration. And it is becoming more important for the organizations which are adapting to have data churning capabilities from the cloud, such as AWS or Google or Azure. So we have those integrations in order to provide a proper end-to-end orchestration of your data pipelines, whether your core systems are on-premise, your data is churned on-premise, but it is required to be stored in the cloud in those drives, such as AWS or Azure Blob Storage, so on and so forth. And then you may be utilizing services, data churning your services, SaaS services. And then once the results are there, you need to bring back those results to on-prem in order to provide those reports. So Control-M has that facility to provide you the end-to-end orchestration without having to create manual dependency checkers from a single pane of glass with our integrations from on-prem technology and SaaS technologies. We have the availability of running your data pipeline. Another important use case that we have seen and our customers utilize our solution for is sometimes sort of an add-on or in parallel system, which is disaster recovery automation. Here, what Contol-M provides you as a feature and function is the ability to transform your DR runbooks into Contol-M, convert them into meaningful workflows, have SLA management when it comes to RPO and RTO, let's say, measurement based on the return point of operation and the time of operation, based on storage, based on the execution of the entire failover or switchover capability. And last but not least, as I said again, a single pane of glass instead of having multiple subject matter experts doing their required portion of the runbooks. For example, database people are supposed to bring up the databases for the applications, then the application needs to come up before the database is supposed to start. You need to make sure the VM comes up, so on and so forth. You can basically take that runbook, incorporate it into Contol-M, and have a single pane of glass and a centralized command center where you can automate the failover, failback through Contol-M. The last three are part of the above, let's say, use cases, meaning Contol-M has the ability when it comes to provisioning servers, for example, Kubernetes pods. It has the ability to, fire off Kubernetes pods, run workload within them, and then decommission them based on requirements. Similarly, it also has the ability to talk to your virtual machine controllers, provision them, deprovision them on demand, run workloads within them. Once the workload is executed, you can go ahead and set a rule to get decommissioned. Same thing can be applied to any CPU utilization or any virtual machine utilization that you may be acquiring from the cloud providers. We can again utilize Contol-M to have that provisioning handled by Contol-M, because at the end of the day, you're starting a virtual machine or a pod in a containered environment for the purpose of churning out data or churning data to produce results. Now, that churning of data, in 99% of the time, is primarily an application. Sometimes it's a series of processes. So Contol-M allows you not only to execute those processes as a batch, as a workflow, but also allows you to control the provisioning and deprovisioning of the resource within the containers, within the cloud providers, or even your virtualized environments, to provide again the end-to-end capability. Let's go to the next slide, please. This was hidden. Next slide, please. So, as I said, Contol-M is the orchestrator of orchestrators. You can see on your screen that these are those, again, don't consider that these are the only integrations, but these are those most common integrations which we help with, meaning we have the ability to interact with the mainframe, ability to run JCLs, start, stop subsystems, talk to JES, so on and so forth, ability to handle Linux, Unix cron tabs, cron jobs, ability to import them and create workflows out of them, similarly with Windows schedulers, but also those newer technologies. Not that these are old technologies, but newer technologies that are out there, such as container orchestration, right? RPA, for example. So when it comes to RPA, you might be utilizing RPA for those most clerical front-end automations. However, that front-end automation may require a dependency from your core system, and that core system may have a backend operation that is handled by Contol-M. So what we're doing is we're basically, again, providing the E2E ability that a process may start on the backend, for example, running a database process, an SQL procedure, which primarily churns out data. Then that data becomes an Excel maybe. That Excel needs to be filled into an online form of some sort. That's the place where robotic process automation can come in, and Contol-M can kick off that process in the RPA. Now, once the RPA has done its portion of work, then it will come back. We will kick off the corresponding let's say, process within Control-M to provide the entire workflow orchestration. Same thing goes with MuleSoft, Airflow, AWS Glue, all of these applications, like for example, Azure Data Factory is a workflow in itself. Data Factory, ADS, provides the ability to churn data to produce results. However, that data that the ADF may require might be coming from your on-prem or your source, application. And Azure Data Factory might not have the right ability to integrate with your source. So here again, Control-M comes into the picture. Control-M talks to your on-prem or let's say source system, executes whatever data is needed to produce. That data then goes to the Azure Data Factory. Control-M kicks up the Azure Data Factory workflow. Once that workflow finishes, Control-M then carries on with the subsequent sessions, so on and so forth. Personalized experience, this hasn't been something new, but yes, we have been working to improve this every year throughout our new releases. As you probably know, we have a very strong web-based interface with almost 99.99% of the features that are available from the rich client, because the direction is to go towards the web-based approach, which allows in general not to have too many holes in your firewall, to have the rich client talk to your Control-M server. So, one web server, which allows the connections from any place, any browser-enabled device. Similarly, we have the the integration for IDEs. We allow the API to have any IDEs talk to it, such as Eclipse or Visual Code. These IDEs are basically the favorite tools for developers. So this approach allows developers to directly interact with Control-M without even having to log on to its interface, run their workload, test their workload, and promote their workload. So again, it helps you speed up the promotion. It helps you speed up the development. It helps you speed up and also involve other, let's say, people in your organization, other personas, rather than just the people of operations or production, having the burden to implement each and every job into production. It allows you to have Control-M part of your CI/CD pipeline. Last but not least, the mobile interface and the business service view is meant for management layer, which allows you strict and intuitive interfacing with our system to see where and what applications are being processed on a very high level. It allows the SLA management as well, meaning color-coded depiction of each status related to any service is available on the screen. And when it comes to approvals, maybe, and you're on the go, a lot of our customers might use our mobile interface to give their executive decision when a critical workflow might fail or a critical workflow might need to initiate. So instead of logging on from a laptop, a full-fledged computer device, you can simply log on to the application, both available for iOS and Android. From your mobile, go to your particular service and release it so that it can execute your critical process. As Harry said in the beginning, please, if you have any questions, do drop them in the chat so that we can take care of them. We will be taking all those questions towards the end of the seminar, and then we will be answering them as we go along. Go ahead, please. Towards the end, sorry. Now, all what I have been explaining about the features and functions, whether it's related to cloud, SaaS, or on-prem applications that you may have, Control-M, as you might know already, is available now for both areas, or let's say worlds. We have an on-prem solution which is installable on any available operating system. You may install it on-prem, you may install it on virtual machines in the cloud, but we also offer a full-fledged SaaS offering, which is Control-M Helix SaaS version of it. It is entirely the same approach, but the benefit over there are some benefits which are very necessary, and those are in line with the SaaS offerings of this age and time, meaning you don't have to maintain the administration of Control-M anymore, apart from just utilizing it. You don't have to pay that extra cost for the carbon footprint that you may require when you're installing Control-M on-prem. You may not require subject matter experts to administer the environment. All you need to do, you get a tenant on our Contol-M SaaS and you utilize it. Yes, the agent part would be taken care by the customer, but the upgrades, fix pack applications to the entire management landscape of Contol-M will be handled by us. Let's go ahead, please. All right, these are just some of the benefits as I was explaining about SaaS. Not that, on-prem is not great as well, but it all depends on the strategy of the organization. And like any technology out there, we are part of, let's say, we are ahead of the pack in offering the orchestration on the SaaS platform as well. The same best features are available, meaning you have the application workflow end-to-end automation, allowing you, apply, create, schedule, manage your workflows. Business agility is there, meaning all the integrations that are available for on-prem, whether they're for on-prem or SaaS, they're available in both versions. Ability to have the JSON import and export when it comes to jobs as code and development of Contol-M artifacts. Actionable insights through advanced reporting, workflow insights, which my colleagues will discuss and demonstrate to you as well. It is one of a new add-ons which provides customers with complex workflows, some analytics, some insights in order for them to run their production in the best of the health that Contol-M should have. Having said that, I will now hand over to my technical team, who will start providing you some insights into the new version V21 features and functions. Thank you so much. Please enjoy and let us know if you have questions in the chat. We'll be here to answer them. Munir, over to you, please.
Hi, thank you, Humayun. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you,
Yes, loud
guys.
and clear.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. First of all, my name is Munir Hussain, and I'll be presenting you the highlights of Contol-M version 21. So, with the advent of all the technologies which are coming into any organization, specifically when it comes to the cloud, or for that sake, even for the on-prem systems, when your IT organization is digitally enabling itself more and more every day, it definitely increases more into your teams, it increases more into your complexity, and you need to overcome that complexity. At the same time, you are bound to accelerate more with less, meaning that you wanted to perform your operations at a higher rate. You wanted swift results. You want everything to be performed up to the mark. And you also wanted to have a less barrier, or ideally to remove the barrier between your IT and your business, so the things can go ahead smoothly. So in order to achieve that, we provide in Contol-M V21 a freedom within the framework. And how does we provide it? We provide you capabilities that expand your orchestration framework, that increase your operational efficiencies, and improve your self-service so your business and IT can collaborate more. And it strengthens your framework because your orchestration, your integrations are increasing, and your operational efficiencies are increasing at the same time because of the improvement in the self-service, in the web UI. You have your teams can collaborate more to each other. So when we talk about expanding the orchestration framework, like I told, we are providing more and more integrations. One of the examples is the integration of the Airflow integration, where basically you can execute a complete DAG of an Airflow using Contol-M, and on top of that, all the capabilities of a Contol-M automation and complex and scheduling can be applied to that DAG task of Airflow. At the same time, we are providing more cloud integrations and support the new method of authentication as well. There are we have an internal team which is called Integration Factory, and they are releasing integrations, almost 2 integrations every month, and we will talk about that in detail in a while. So a little bit more detail in terms of Airflow integration. So basically, Airflow is an open source project that becomes a top level Apache project in 2019, and it is primarily used to automate the data workflows on platforms like Hadoop and big data targeted specifically towards the cloud services. However, when it comes to the connectivity to systems like SAP, system like connecting to Oracle or to mainframes, or specifically to on-prem applications, Airflow is always lacking connectors, lacking capabilities when it comes to file transfer. This is why we believe within BMC that if Airflow can be integrated within Control-M, it can be more beneficial. So by achieving that integration, now you can see that we have Airflow within Control-M tasks toolset itself. So you can simply drag and drop, and you can connect to your Airflow environment from your Control-M. Airflow customers now, they can leverage our best of the breed orchestration capabilities. Like I told earlier, that once you use that integration, on top of that, you can use all the automation and orchestration capabilities of Control-M. So like I mentioned earlier, that Control-M for Airflow is a new plugin that enables you to trigger, monitor Airflow DAG. DAG is nothing but, you can say DAG is like a workflow or a folder in Airflow. So when it comes to the cloud storage integrations, now in Control-M v21, we are expanding our orchestration framework, our orchestration landscape, basically by providing you more native integrations to the storages like AWS S3 private link. For Azure Data Lake storage, we are providing that. And for Google Cloud Storage, we are also providing a native storage, a native integration for the Google Cloud Storage. This basically allows you easily to transfer files, specifically when it comes to the cloud storages. You can easily transfer files to and from a cloud storage within from your on-prem to any cloud storage of your choice, with full security and full auditability. You can look into the output of those tasks when those files got transferred to the cloud storage, that where it is transferred, at what time it is transferred, and all the logs, so on and so forth. So it is basically auditable, using efficient native interfaces to further simplify the orchestration of data movement in multi-cloud environment. You can also watch files. You can also watch the files on all supported environments as well. On top of that, specifically for AWS, now we are providing something which is called AWS Identity and Access Management, which is called IAM role. Now, using your IAM role, you can use it in your connection profile to connect to AWS. It is basically the same thing that that is used by Azure Managed Identity, which is equivalent to AWS IAM role. So you need to configure this authentication method in AWS connection profile. And by configuring this, it applies to AWS Lambda, step functions, batch plugins, AWS Glue. So this authentication can be used to execute all those functions and services on AWS. Like I mentioned earlier, that we have a department in BMC, which is called Integration Factory, and it is releasing integrations which are specifically focused on the cloud. And those integrations, almost 2 to 3 integrations every month, starting from January to Azure and till September last month, we have released the integrations for Click and Snowflake. So I have mentioned it earlier also, and Humayun told that as well, that the beauty or the basic benefit is this: with these integrations, what happens that a person who, let's say, does not know much about Click or Snowflake can also trigger a job, can also create a task to trigger something, let's suppose in Airflow or on Microsoft Power BI. So you can do more with the less resources available. Our next next topic is increase operational efficiencies. So operations can, like I told, that the challenge we have is that we wanted to do more with the less. Operations wanted to be more swift and more faster, and Contol-M 21 increases your operational efficiency. So responding to the demand to produce more with the same resources through the features that help IT ops to eliminate redundant, time-consuming tasks and proactive response to the risks. As a result, IT operations achieve faster time to value. So our operational enhancements include IDP SAML 2.0 support, which enables the customers to have like multi-factor authentication and single sign-on. The enhancement on in the web UI enables the customers to create workflows faster. We have streamlined managed file transfer and enhance the managed file transfer. We will talk about it in detail, and we have a demo for that to show as well. Plus the administration facilities, which was earlier only available on the CCM Control-M configuration manager, is now available on your is now available on the web client as well. So the operational enhancements, we can categorize basically them into 3 major portions. And number 1 is our, like I told, identity providers, SAML support, enhanced security, single sign-on, multi-factor. From the workflows development for the task and processes development landscape, we have introduced something which called a reference type of a folder, a reference. I will talk about this in detail also. And we have increased and other functionalities in the post processing of the tasks, basically, which provides you an action which can be triggered on the basis of a value which is stored in a variable. So first things first, the security assertion markup language, which is called SAML. It's an identity authentication mechanism. Basically, it is a set of profiles for exchanging authentication and authorization of data across the different security domains. So by enabling this, we have now, instead of LDAP, you can enable SAML, and you can have you can configure your users for, to have single sign-on. You can have multi-factor authentication, and on top of that, IDP security groups can also be associated with your Control-M roles. Like, you know, that Control-M provides you the the roles for having control and checks on the users, that which users can access which, let's suppose, folders or which features. So this can be associated with Control-M roles as well. The next feature is Control-M reference folder. This is something new which we have introduced. And what does it basically do? That you can now create a folder, basically a smart folder. And within that folder, you will have your tasks or the flow which is created within that folder. You can mark that folder as it is shown on the slide as a reference. And then the same folder can be used as a reference to another folder. The story behind this is basically that earlier in Control-M, when you create a folder and you wanted to use it somewhere else, you have to like copy and paste it over there. So you have to create a different copy of that. But by having an option of reference, what do we have now? That you have a folder which can be pointed within another folder. So like it is shown that you have created this folder, you have made this folder as a reference folder, and now you can reference it into another folder. So basically it will not create a copy of it, but it will be using the same folder as a reference within another folder. And it's not only, the scope is not only bound only to the folder, but you can have it for a job also, which is residing basically in that folder. And the syntax will be same like your folder name / your job name. And that specifically job will be referenced to another folder. So it basically reduces your effort to change, and it basically reduces your effort to change everywhere. Instead, you can use a reference folder to reference your job into other folders basically. The second thing which I told was post-processing with the variables. So in V21, the version 21, we have provided an extra option in the post-processing, which basically allows you to have an if condition on top of a variable value. So you can have a condition that if a variable value changes, let's suppose from one value to another value, or from one date to another date, or for that sake, anything which is relevant to that specific job, you can have a specific action like it is mentioned on the screen, that if a value of the variable which is prev changes to this date, then stop the cyclic action, which means the job which is running in a cyclic way, in a loop, will be stopped executing. And there are multiple actions which are available. So this is something new which is introduced in V21. The next thing is adjust bridge. So this basically provides a way of enhancing the monitoring view of Control-M. Earlier, if a job is scheduled, is available in a workflow, but is scheduled for a month end, or let's suppose on a weekly basis, but when it is executed, it is shown as dummy. Now in Control-M V21, if you have created a workflow and your folder is its events adjustment is set to bridge, what it will do, that all those jobs which are not scheduled for that specific day will not be shown in the monitoring view of that flow or of that folder. So if you have a smart folder, on your adjust events, you have provided bridge. the job which is basically not supposed to execute on that specific day will not be shown on the flow. It will be shown like this, but it will not be shown like a dummy job in between. So on top of that, we have provided enhancements for the agent also. Now with Contol-M v21, when an agent is installed at and configured at the endpoint, so you will have by default an application integrator and automation API command line interface will be available on that endpoint, on that specific server where you have installed Contol-M agent. On top of that, Contol-M agent provides support now for embedded scripts natively for Python, Perl, PowerShell, and for VB scripts. So you can say that in your embedded script window can be your text editor for these languages and scripts, for PowerShell, for Perl, for Python. And Contol-M agent is now multi-subnet aware. When we say that multiple IP addresses for the host name, it means that now Contol-M agent is now aware and can listen to a socket or can connect to Contol-M server interface on an available and on an open connection as defined in your DNS server, basically. So from here onwards, I'll transfer the control to my colleague, Mr. Mamadou, who will be explaining the enhancement in terms of file transfer, and we'll have a demo for you after that. Mamadou?
Thank you, Munar. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I do. Loud
Yeah.
and clear, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your presenting. So now I'm turning to the capability that we add to the file transfer. So like we see on the how to say, on the text message. So many customers like you have the V29. So I suppose you use the MFT job. So we have multiple capability that we add. Is based on the listening of the customer. So first of all, Umayun already talked about it. It is the cloud native integration. So we can transfer via MFT to different cloud. And during the demo, I will show you how to do that. So we increase the efficiency of the security. First of all, we integrate with the SAML2 as the IDP provider, and we can not expose our password because we use a centralized console profile to encapsulate and cipher all the data in Contol-M. And regarding to the monitoring stuff, you can see all your connection profile, data transfer, and we expose the facility that we can share or transfer file from to partner by having the MFT B2B. So in the MFT B2B, a new functionality will add. It's called MFT multi-site. Let's say we have different sites, so you can expose a different B2B portal and give us to your external partner to download or upload files. And from internal, you can access to all the files. And in internal, a new web-based portal is for the administration on the Contol-M. You can see all your B2B files, expose it, and you can exchange file with within this portal. Next slide, please. So for the administration facility, many options are available. So first of all, like SAP, on the MFT, you can have a centralized connection profile. It means you don't need to have a different connection profile in every agent. You just define one connection profile on the web, and any MFT agent can use it to process the transfer files. For the MFTE, so a new sub-button is added, is called it group. So you can have multiple group on your LDAP. It means like you have different external partner in the same company, so you can make a group and address all these partners, instead add one partner by one and associate to a group. The fact that we have the connection profiles eliminate the risk to connect to different agents and send file from one place to too many places. And keep in mind with the MFT, you can do a file transfer from mainframe to a cloud, or from mainframe to the on-premise, and vice versa. Next slide, please. So here is the short screenshot of a demo that I made to emphasize all the new capability that we already talked about on the V31. So just to explain the workflow, I'm starting from the top. Munir, can you point it to the top button? MFT from partner, please, if you can highlight it. Thank you. So I'm back. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So for the demo, I'm starting like you have your MFT already installed on your environment, and you expose a virtual folder to your external partner. So the first job is to wait a set of files or folder sent by the partner. So for the demo, I will send many files. You can see the many files we send to the B2B hub. And after we have the B2B hub, so it's a different set of files. You can have XLS files, you can have PDF files, and TXT files. And to emphasize all the new capability that we add to the MFT, I will send by the MFT job to different cloud vendors. And before sending that, I will show you how to configure the connection profile. So first of all, I will send file to the MFT to AWS. We have a bucket in AWS, one to the Azure, it's the same, and another one to the GCP. That emphasize that we have the different connection profile to different cloud vendors, and you can buy a job, simply send one to many files to this cloud vendor. And last job is just a synchronization, because for sure we expose a virtual folder to a partner, and all the files are reside to a hub. So I make a rotation for the hub to not saturate the file system, and the rotation of the file that's coming to the external partner is 1 hour, to avoid lost some files. So I will have another synchronization B2B in another file system in my AC to send all the files that I have on the list. So you can have first the arrival of the file from the partner, send to different cloud, and then make a synchronization on the backup on your system. Make sense? Should I do the demo now, or you want to take a break before the demo? It's up to you, customer. And Umayun?
Harry?
Feel free to send text message to the chat. We move on.
Go for the demo.
Okay,
Sorry,
let's
Go
Can you
for
hear me?
the demo.
So
Yeah, I do.
let me share my screen. Let me know if you see my screen.
We see it, Mamadou.
Yeah.
Can we see your screen?
Okay, by the way, I will switch off my camera because my camera is on the bottom, so you can see my hand. Time for the demo. So I'm connecting to my Contol-M. So all the Contol-M, like Umayun said at the beginning, I install to the cloud. So I have my Contol-M on the cloud, and here is on the planning. I have my folder that I already take day, and I'm open it. This one, minimize it. Okay. So you see my my B2B, and I expose the B2B hub to my partner, so they will send all the file to the B2B. After, for the MFT, like I said, I point to the S3 bucket and send all the TXT files to the S3. For the Azure, it's like the same. All the file coming to the partner. I just take all the docx to send to the GCP, and the same to the XLS files. Instead, my policy that I made to my B2B, so I avoid to have all the file in my system for 24 hours. So I minimize it to 1 hour. And before the 1 hour, I will do a synchronization. So the synchronization is checking the file here and compared to the to my repository of backup if there are some files missing or add to do the synchronization. Before running the demo, I'm going to the configuration, because we talk about a lot about centralized connection profile, and for the centralized connection profile, I make a different connection profile. So I will start first for the AWS. It's quite simple. For AWS, what I did is give a name, a common name to C to give my team what is this connection profile. AWS MFT is connecting to my S3 blob storage. So for the connection details, I'm pointed to the S3, and all you need, you have to ask to your AWS admin the secret and access key to be allowed to do the file transfer. And by the fact that it's centralized connection profile, I can test it to different agents. So I can test it to my first server to see if everything is okay. So the connection profile is successful. It means that my CTM SRV1 can act like a file transfer to send the file. I can do another test for the AG Hub to test it. And it is the value to have a centralized connection profile. I do not need to define all this configuration to different server, right? So if I do the same for the Azure, it's quite similarly the way that we are connected to the Azure portal. So here is to destination to my blob storage, and for this one I need the account name. So he will point directly to my endpoint URL to the cloud. And for this stage, you have different methods to connect to authenticate. On my side, I use the shared and access key. But by the way, if you configure your Azure RD, you can use the Azure RD or share access key identity. Different method. Okay. And last but not least is the way to do for the GCP, because we talk about 3 cloud vendors. So same things. For this one, I need a service account key. It's similar to the EIM to the GCP. So the administrator for the GCP give you the file that allow you to connect to a different cloud vendor. And at the end, you can test it to see if you access. Okay. Let me release the job, cancel. So I'm going to my planning and order my job, run workspace. Okay. So it's running. I go to monitoring to see what's happening, and I make a viewpoint to see my job. So it is on the green button because I need to confirm my action. But before confirming the action, I just want to show you what's happening on the other side on the different clouds. So let me back outside to file chain. So here I'm in our Azure portal, and I have my bunch of virtual machine already running. And what I need is to show you the fact that I already create some kind of virtual folder on my Azure portal. So let me check. So MD is me. And if I go to my container, you can see I have different folder here, and the file that I need to send will be reside in TechDay Paris, this one. I do the same to go to S3, sorry. To S3, I have a list of buckets, so many buckets on my S3. And here I will send the same to TechDay Paris, so I have 150 bucket, and I need to send my bucket to this one. And same to the GCP. Sorry, up. GCP also, I'm going to cloud storage to the GCP. And if I list all my buckets, so MDE storage is still me. I have one bucket and a subfolder. So here, all the buckets are empty. So let's consider that you are outside. I can give you the link. So I'm going to connect to the virtual folder portal. So virtual folder is just the IP address of the machine or the domain name. So I didn't configure the domain name. Forwarded by the 443 by HTTPS. I can do the same with FileZilla or whatever. So the thing is, if you create your customer, he will access to the virtual folder. So he needs his login in password. And instead having login password, as the admin of Contol-M, you have to define. Let me go here, MFT B2B, to show you how to define the login password. So I'm connected to my B2B. You have a different bunch of subtabs. So this is my environment. It is one hub that all the file that external partner sent to me will come here, and my gateway. You can have it in high availability mode. It's supposed that you can have 2 gateway and 3 hub. And for the environment, I have an environment file. It is a new functionality. So you can have different environment. I have one on Madrid that have the same. Let me go to Madrid. And depending on the how control server you have, you can create different environment to have the high availability mode in both sides. Okay. So if I go back to Paris and go back to my virtual folder, I have different virtual folder already created. So one is TechDay Paris, one is CLA, and depending on the virtual folder, I access this for the external partner. So you can see all these guys can access, and each guys have a login and password. And the user is quite same. You can define the user by plus button here and add the user login password, and generate a password and send to the customer automatically. He can, if I can show you real quick how it's done. Like I would like to create a one. I create a user, let's say total user. So you can create a password or generate a password and force the customer to exchange the password before access to the B2B gateway. Okay, after everything done, you associate virtual folder to a customer. And last but not least, is regarding the rules. So I create some kind of rules depending on how I work. Like if I take the first rules, I just say an action. It's suppose if the Mathieu Petit logging to my phone, it's an external user. If it's logging to the B2B gateway and send a file, I would like to move the file to a specific subfolder depending on how I work. You can do the same by scanning the files before trigger some action, or you can send an email depending on the action you can do. Many actions are available, so feel free to have action take it on to a file already coming. Okay. So after things done, so I'm back to the fact that I'm uploading files. Let me out to be external. So here I create a user called TechDay_user, and the password, if I'm not wrong, I think that's this one. Before hitting enter, you can change the background of the B2B depending on your customer, external customer that you have. If he log in, he can access to the background. take the Paris, take the underscore user. Here we go. So I'm here my B2B folder, and the file that we allow me to use is this one. So I can upload, and if BMC send me file, I can download file from here. So here it is. I'm going to upload folder of files. So let me take files to show you one key functionality. And here I have a bunch of files on my laptop. So what I do is to select all. Let me select all up and upload. So you can see the upload is processing, and a new subtab is coming to show you all the files that you are uploading and the size of the files depending on the file that you have. And I can do action to say, if take the user upload files, get me a notification by email and process the file. So if I'm back to my demo to see what's going on here, monitoring. So let me release this one to see, to confirm what's going on. And we can see in a couple of seconds that you will change. And depending the code of the color, if it's green, it's suppose that's okay. If it's yellow, is executing. If it's red, need action. If it's blue, I'm waiting agent. So you have different status of color depending on the workflow. So if I go this one and show you the output, you can see the output on the log. So you can see it's profile for B2B up and the system local, and he check all the file and send the file one by one to the. If I show you the output on the AWS, same output, but you can see he just transfer all the file with extension txt to the S3. Same for the Azure, but the difference is I just need to send all the files with the extension docx, send it to my repository. And the GCP, the outputs are the same, but for this type, I just send the txt files, XLS files to my GCP. And the last, regarding the synchronization, instead my retention that I made, it's quite simple. So he checked the source and the destination, and see there are some modification on the file, and after that he checked 15 new file and send it to the repository. If we go back to our different cloud and see if it's okay, let me out and try to check to my portal. So if I refresh here, I can see all the file extension txt is on my Azure. If I go to my, to my S3 bucket, and go to take the Paris, refresh. Yep. All the file text that I sent is done. And last, for my GCP, if I go to my bucket and the storage, and where's the refresh button? Okay. Okay. See, I have all my XLS files already sent. Make sense? Any question on the chat? Oh.
No, all good.
All good. So you see the new integration of different cloud. Oh, by the way, I just forget one integration that someone asked that's is new. Is regarding the IAM role on the Contol-M. If I go, let's say, to to my configuration on my centralized question profile. It's the same if you add a centralized question profile for MFT. Let me go to the AWS. So here you see you have the authentication method and access key. Make sense? So Munir, can you back to the slide? Instead, someone have a question on the demo. It was clear?
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Munir, can you back to the slide? Thank you. Next slide, please. So continuing to the demo, so we improve our self-service and collaboration because we involve all the tenant on our SE instance developer operational to work as a team and have better collaboration. And for that, we improve different action. Next slide, please. First is regarding the RBA, it's rule-based access. So you can allow, let's say, operational to have visibility on the Contol-M GUI, full part of the visibility and do action. And for the developer, just give them the planning domain or just the monitoring, instead giving them all the ability on the web. That help you to better collaborate and give insight to a developer when he's done to his job or testing. He can see what's happening on the web. Can I say that APA? Yes, sir. Follow question regarding and always on the collaboration. So like Munir say, new functionality is added, so you can use embedded script on the system, and the Contol-M will know the script that we use. It could be a VBS script, PowerShell, per Python. And at the end, better collaboration on the site standard policy, because you give access to your customer to use API and create jobs. So you can manage and make some policy on this side. So we can go deep dive on each point. Next slide, please. So first is a site standard policy. Like you already seen on the Contol-M GUI, we have it on the web now, starting to V21. You can have policy that you can define at the folder level that help you to apply some filter and some security depending on who are accessed to the site policy. So after you go to your site standard, you just click policy. You can choose and filter different policy, make some warning or the issue, and apply it to one or different folder depending on the server that you are working on, and depending on the folder level that you are working on. Next slide, please. Holographical view, this is something new. You have it on the CCM, but it's now available on the web portal. You have to folder management that you can access to all the folder, what folder are synchronization, what folder have a rule, and what folder would like, I would like to make some policy. You can have it on the CCM like Munir showed to us. Next. And for the graphical, instead having the open portal to the customer, to the people working on the system, you can have the management of the users on the web portal, make some role defining, and like the question popping right now regarding to the API, you can define the API token and send it to a developer that he can use the API and the token to create some MFT job by the API, because he have the Swagger and the API to connect, instead having a login password and do a file transfer if he can. And last but not least is regarding all the diagnosis of the agent that we have already deployed agents. So on the web portal, you can diagnose if agent is down or what's happening, make a debugging, all is full web, and see the communications, parameters of the agent, and change some ability if we need to change some ability, instead going to the CCM and doing manually on the action. So you can do it on the web portal at this stage. Improve the developer and the experience of the developer. So we talk about API, and I see on the chat, not on the chat, but on the question response, many of you know what is the API. So we have monthly update on the API. So be aware to have your API update every time, because new functionality and new capability are added every month, and you have the release notes every time. So when you download it, subscribe to the newsletter, because every release you will get notification on what we are adding on the API and what's going on. And like a developer, they used to use their preferred IDE, could be Eclipse, could be Visual Code or Notepad++. They have API and the snippet in the Contol-M that they can use to copy and paste, instead going back and forth to the documentation to see how to create a folder, how to use API. So like if you use, let me say, if you use, for example, for my side, I use Notepad++. I have download on the marketplace a snippet called Contol-M. So they came with all the subfolder, how to create. You just tap the 3-gram GAC, job as code, and you have the list of the following instruction that you can do if you want to do a file transfer, SAP, Hadoop, or whatever. They give you the rest, and you have to copy and paste and replace the field that you need to replace at this stage. And after that, the easiest way the developer is finished, he can send to the promotion and the administration of the Contol-M based on the policy that I already show, or based on the rule-based access. He can promote to a different environment. It could be a dev environment, test, or prod, depending on how you are working or how you are defining your environment. Next slide, please. Oh.
So Mamadou, before we carry on there, we have got a question.
Yep.
Maybe we can quickly just answer that question for Rashad. So the question is, can external partner drop files using the automation API? And what security is needed for this for your external clients to access Contol-M's API to transfer files?
Oh, external partner have a HTTPS method or how to say, or SFTP method. And for the API is just for the internal partner. For internal partner, they can use API, and we have token. And for the external partner, it's some new functionality. You can add the LDAP for the external partner. Let me go back to the MFT real quick and show you this functionality. Users, if I add a user, so you can have let me see. Oh, it's about environment, sorry. Site setting. So you can see you have different method of authentication, and you can add the LDAP for the external partner, so they can use login password, and LDAP for the internal partner. But for the API, yep.
I think you wanted to share your screen to show something.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I was on your screen. Let me go back. Sorry, I share real quick my screen where the share button is here. Okay, thank you. Share. Let me know if you're sharing.
Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah, all good.
Okay. All good. So for the button. So I'm in my environment Paris. So on the site setting, you can have integrate the security that allow you for the authentication method, or for the external partner, you can have the LDAP for the external partner. So you can give all the security details here. And regarding to the API at this point, the external partner have HTTPS or a FileZilla command to send to the gateway, because it's outside the DMZ. So the two possibilities that you have is just to use the web portal that's already exposed, or send the files or the folder via a FileZilla client that you use. And for the internal, we can do the reverse side, like I can use the API to control or send the file to external partner. Make sense?
Harry, does that answer the Rashad's question? Rashad, is it okay? Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Mamadou.
So go back to your screen. You can take the screen.
Okay. Harry, and to all the customers, is it okay if we can take a break? I mean, if you guys need a break for 10 minutes, is it okay? Harry, can you please?
Yeah, I think that's fine. And adjourn back at 10:02 is 22 now. We say back at 12:50.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grab.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We can grab a coffee or a tea, and we'll see you back in 10 minutes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Hello, guys. Welcome back. Are we good to start?
Yeah, I think let's go ahead, Mamadou. Munir.
Yeah, okay. Perfect. So I hope my screen is still shared with you guys, right?
Yes, we can see the Control-M for cloud.
Okay, perfect. So thank you, guys. Welcome back, all of you who came back. And so just to reiterate basically the agenda for the remaining of the seminar, webinar either, is that we will go through cloud and containers, and one of the most important topics is like workflow insights, and there will be we will show you the different dashboards of workflow insights, and after that the roadmap which will be presented by Flora. So here we go. So like we told it earlier as well, that Control-M, when we say expanding our orchestration framework and expanding our landscape when it comes when it comes specifically to the cloud, we provide integrations for all the major cloud provider, be it AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. And on top of that, the applications which are running on cloud, we also provide integrations for them. So let's say like Informatica, Click, Snowflake, Automation Anywhere, Boomi, we provide integrations for them also. So basically, we have dedicated integrations team, like we told before, who is working and developing integrations, and our focus is basically on the cloud. All the implemented applications who are I mean all the functions who are, for example, let's say Lambda function, or you wanted to transfer something on your S3 bucket, on your Google bucket, or on your Google storage, like Mamadou has shown in the demo. Also, you have to create a connection profile, and on top of connection profile, you have to use it within the task which you are defining on a folder in Control-M. And then on top of this, you can use all the functionalities. You can schedule it. You can schedule it on time, or you can schedule it via calendar. You can execute it yourself at your own will. You can add an SLA management job on that flow itself. So basically, we are not only providing the integrations, we are providing a complete framework where you can integrate out of the box. You don't need to be expert in Control-M, or you don't need to be a very high level or highly skilled professional to do all that things. You can simply create a connection profile, you can create a job, and you can go on from there. Sorry, I'm turning on my camera, forget it. So again, like I told, that Control-M as the orchestration engine, whether integrating to your mainframe environment or it is integrating to your distributed platforms. From Control-M perspective, deploying Control-M agents to the applications for the needed integrations, and the plugins, being able to make use of those applications as a job within Control-M. So basically, we make sure that we are making use of any of the cloud providers and the integrations into their services which they provide. Control-M provide native integrations for Azure, for example. So basically, what is our message here? What is the story which we wanted to portray here is this, that be it a cloud integration, be it an automation or a requirement from a customer to execute something, a service, or to a file transfer on cloud, or it is on the agent level, or it is on-prem, or it's running a query in a in a database, or a job or a process to be executed on mainframe. Control-M can integrate, can automate, and also can orchestrate. And it can show you all that in a single platform. And when I say in a single platform, I mean that you can have your interdependent, complex dependencies of tasks and processes which are dependent on each other at the same time they are scheduled. They might be running at different times in the day. They might be scheduled and residing on different platforms, maybe on a public cloud, maybe on a private cloud. But at the same time, they are interdependent on each other and presented to you in a single flow in Control-M. So this is our single pane of glass. You can create flows, you can create your tasks here, you can execute it, and you can monitor it on a single view. And again, like I told, it is a platform. It is basically technology agnostic. You can have multi-dependencies, you can have interdependencies on different platforms, and you can look all of that in a single screen. And when it comes to microservices, so basically with the modernization and with having containers concept in the IT landscape, now it's a major benefit when it in terms of cost saving. Before having VMs, now you have pods, you have applications which are running. It can be on-prem, and it can be on a private cloud. You can have a pod, you can spin a pod for a specific time, and after executing specific tasks on it, you can spin it off. Now, when it comes to the orchestration within the pod, within a container, what Control-M provides, Control-M has the ability that we can provide you an agent which are installed or configured in a single pod. And when the agent is residing inside a pod and you spin this pod, you turn on the pod, the agent has the ability for a dynamic registration, which means the agent can connect to Control-M server as soon as your pod turns on. And you can execute, you can orchestrate it, you can basically automate the application or the jobs which has to run in that specific pod, and after that you can turn it off. Now, because once the pod is turned off, all the output of the jobs or the tasks which is executed by that agent will be lost, because the agent is stateless when it is residing inside a pod. So you need something to store that logs or the output of the tasks which you have executed. We can have a Control-M workload archiving for that matter, so that you can store the output at runtime in Control-M workload archiver. Or you can have a PVC, which means inside your container, you can have you can have a persistent volume claim, a persistent shared storage where you can route your logs of your agent when it is executing the jobs, and when your pod is basically turned off, your output is not lost. You can still look into that one. On top of that, BMC also provides a Docker file which enable the customers to basically spin a container spin a pod and install an agent on the pod itself. The other way is this, that Control-M agent resides outside of your container, and through your CLI, Control-M agent basically talks to your orchestrate your machines, you orchestrate your pods basically. So in a nutshell, we can have containerized agents. We can provide you dynamic registration of those agents in the pod. Those agents again can be the part of a host group, which means that let's suppose you have 10 or 15 pods which contain 10 or 15 Control-M agents. You can and you wanted to run a specific job in or a specific task in all your pods. So you can make it a part of a host group, and you can initiate a single task for that host group, and it will run across all your pods. Again, like I told you, we can manage our output, manage output log either through PVC, or you can use a Control-M archiver for that matter. Again, your Docker cluster, your Kubernetes cluster can be on-prem, or it can reside on a cloud itself. Control-M agent location, basically, it depends on maybe if the application is being managed or accessible remotely or not. Maybe there are some specific organizations who has this preferences that they just want Control-M to orchestrate their VM, their pods. Basically, they want only Control-M to start the pod or stop a pod instead of executing applications or orchestrating the applications which are residing inside the pod. Lastly, what level of comfort that the teams have with this technology? Again, it depends on the requirements, that what you wanted to do basically with this. You wanted to orchestrate a pod just to spin it off and spin it on, or you wanted to execute the tasks and you wanted to automate the tasks which are running inside the pod. This is the view of a hybrid environment where you have your Control-M landscape presented here on the right upper corner, where you have Enterprise Manager, your Control-M server, your workload archiving, and you have Control-M logical host groups, which are connecting to, again, let's say a container, where Control-M agents are residing inside the pod, or on your right lower corner, where you are just using your host groups only to orchestrate the containers, orchestrate your pods, meaning you just to spin on and just to turn on, just to start your pods and to shut down your pods. And again, you have agents which are running which are doing automation and orchestration on-prem or on your public or private cloud. So it is just an pictorial format of a hybrid environment with a single pane of glass, with a single orchestration and automation framework. You can perform multiple tasks. So the next topic is workflow insights. So with increasing automation and orchestration, it makes your workflows sometimes complex, specifically when it is running in a hybrid format, when it is involved multiple platforms for automation. And this complexities grows exponentially, specifically when you are constantly doing developments. You have DevOps teams who are creating flows through APIs. You have schedulers team who are creating flows through web client, or you have multiple integration across different cloud or different on-prem landscape. So at that point, most of the time, IT ops needs to reduce the risk and to have some kind of a mechanism where they can do proactive actions in order to make sure and in order to avoid the risk that their automation flows and or your SLA management is swift, is optimized, and can be trusted. So basically, our challenge, which we are trying to address with workflow insight, is this: that workflows changes and the result can change as soon as your workflow increases exponentially. Your performance definitely decreases, and you have always a risk that your SLA may breach, and you need to have an insight on that. So workflow insight seeks to address the challenge. We frequently hear about typically in enterprise workflow environments where your environment is complex and it tends to evolve as the business of the organization is grow. Such changes demand constantly to be monitored and active management in order to continue to deliver the optimum performance, basically. Control-M and the processes, the tasks, the flows which are running, that executes, it generates basically a lot of data. And the challenge is to convert that data into knowledge and into actionable insights. This is what Workflow Insight brings to the table. It takes that data, it streamlines that data, it presents you, that data in forms of dashboard and in meaningful insights. Meaningful insights, organization always seeks and wanted to know what value that a new tool or a new technology or a new integration can bring. So by converting that data into knowledge and into actionable insights, we bring a value which can help you to reduce your SLA breaches, which can help you to understand how much your automation or orchestration platform is being used and how you can optimize and how you can increase the performance of it. So basically, Workflow Insights, it provides you insight by providing you easy to use dashboards. And the beauty of this is that you just need to install and configure it. You don't have to integrate it into each of your flows, or you don't have to create specific dashboards. It is just plug and play. You install it, you configure it one time, and that's it. It will provide you the dashboards which are already available over there. So, and its impact is this, that it helps you to expanding your digital business needs, basically. So when it comes to Workflow Insights dashboard, these dashboards can be divided or can be subcategorized into 3 major categories, which can be again further categorized or divided into basically 8 types of dashboards. Those 3 categories are workflow optimization, as the name says, that it helps you to look inside your workflow. It provides you insight into your workflow, which again helps you to optimize your workflow, look insights that maybe in the future, which specific task needs some kind of modification. So your workflow execution can be more better. Then resource optimization, which basically tells you that distribution of resources and the volume analysis, which basically tells you that how resource consumption and how it can be reduced. And then intelligent maintenance, which basically comes up to that how many job executions are happening, how many SLAs are breaches is happening every month, or let's suppose every week. So you can modify your search criteria through the filters which are available. And on top of that, it also tells you that on which specific endpoint, how many executions are happening, and on which specific endpoints or agents, how many jobs are running or how many processes are executing, and which SLAs are about to breach. So you can have a look into that one, and you can optimize it before it breaches, basically. So visibility for the application and time frame is available. Enable you to have accurate chargebacks by consumption. Greater predictability with compute tasks is available. You can track the definition updates, which means that you can look into your, you can understand that which tasks or which workflows or which folders are updated within a certain time frame. So you can keep check on your releases or updation of your flows as well. Now, this is a screenshot just to tell you that how it looks like and how the flows are divided into the 8 categories. I would request here Mr. Mamadou to kindly share his screen and show you some of the workflow insights dashboard screens. Mamadou, over to you, please. Mamadou, you are on mute. If you are speaking. Okay.
You heard me?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So let me share my screen. Do you see my screen? Do you see my screen?
Yes, I see your screen.
Okay.
Guys, as we will be very much interested if you have any questions, please put it on the chat, specifically for workflow insights. Yes, Mamadou, please carry on.
Okay, thank you. So I'm logging to my workload inside. Let me find a place here. Okay, let me go this. So I'm connecting like I do to the MC demo to my environment. So first of all, I'm logging to my system, and here we go. We have the same tab that we already talked about, like the planning monitoring. And after you activate, like Munir, the workload file is a plug and play. You will have the setup already easy to use. So we use in the backend two major components is Elasticsearch and Kibana that allow us to have the accuracy of what's happening on our system and based on the time that we execute. So first of all, we have the dashboard showing is workload health. It gives me in the time frame of 7 days how many jobs that I execute and how many fail. And depending on the number that we have a diagram to highlight the daily execution. What is the number of the job day by day turning to not okay? What is the top 10 application that generate many more chaos? So we can have the value here. We have 14 here, 10, and depending on the job, on the right side we have the name of the job and which Contol-M server are using on and what is the folder. So depending on how you work, if you have different kind of application, you can filter and go through the folder and see what's going on. If it's your responsibility, you can fix it ASAP. If it's other part on the company who are responsible, let's say it's many job regarding to the database, and you can just export the data from here and have a talk with the database administration to see what's going on. And regarding the time frame, so we can extend the date. Let's say if I go back in 1 year, what's happening on my environment. So within 1 year, dynamically they show me the number of jobs that I run and the total of execution and so on. And I can have a quick view the health of my environment within 10 years. 1 year. And depending on the criteria, you can just select like this one, and to emphasize during a time rate what's happened on my system, and have a quick insight on what's going on. If they ask you, depending on the SAP, let's say I would like to say my application or my SAP, I can just say, let me try to say the job name is, let's say, and it start okay or file watcher. I can have the job name, the statute of the job name, what's going on during this period, how many times this job was executed, and the filter, you can add many more filter for this one, right? This is the health of my environment, and depending on the health, like Munir said, you have 8 dashboards. So first, it was the health, what's going on the system, what's going good, and you have the trend in volume depending on how many agents are involved to your system, and depending the number of runs. So you have the top 10 agent running here, and the application that generate more and more execution. So you can have a quick view on what's going on. And the same, you can access to, let's say, to 1 hour for 1 year, or last 30 minutes, or last 15 minutes. So depending on the criteria, or between this time or this time, between 1st January to 31 of March, depending on the ask or the needs for the system. After the trend and peak volume, you have the definition is the way to monitor how many jobs I have in my system, if the job are running or not. So you have the definition and distribution. So number of jobs that my Contol-M server run is during the 7 days is almost 2,000 jobs. And what kind of job are running this one? And you have the top 10 host or agents running a job. So it's help you to see where is the bottleneck is, and how to make a life balance between the agent to not fully focus one server to do the task all the time. And you have the distribution on what kind of application are running, and who are running this one. And depending on what you need, you can just specify the database, the file transfer, the dummy job to see what's going on. If I go to the alerts, it's kind of alert that generate to the system, so you can see different alerts popping to your console, and see what is the agency to focus on, and what kind of alert is, and the message that generate to the alert. So you can pre-configure and see my workflow generate alert, but this alert is minor, so I can focus on the major or the critical one to see what's going on my system based on the time frame or the diagram that I have on my dashboard. All right. Upload and definition. So I have different jobs. Could be a script, could be a database, could be a file system, or whatever. So it is a view on the daily basis. What kind of type of application that I run? It could be, let's say here, ADS, test, migration. So you can have a look of the number of definitions that I created. If I modify it and make it update, which application I add or I make an update. So depending on how you work, you can see, okay, for this time I have 2,000 jobs added on my system, and we have some modification which generate many of problems, what's going on. And if I need to clean out, I can delete what's kind of job that I already deleted. So you can show all the diagram, and it's like I said, it's dynamically depending on the time frame you use. You can have a definition of job update running on your system. SLA management, critical part. So depending on the SLA that you have on your company, you can see all the application running, what kind of SLA are executed, if it's okay, if it's late, what is the slack time of the late, why my workflow is late. So you can have a quick view to see, okay, I made a mistake here because I make a cyclic job for 10 and I need for instance 5, or I ask to my scheduling team to start the job at 8 and rather than 10. That's why we have some kind of delay, and you can fix it by checking what's going on. I have 4 questions on the system. Someone can check the system. And optimization is regarding the dummy job that we already talked about it. Because when you use a dummy job, it's a job that you can run, but without doing anything. And major time of our customer that I visit, in case of to delete or to clean up their system, they prefer to put it at the dummy and keep moving. So it is a way to see, okay, I have some type of application that I put on dummy. So here in my system, in the time frame of 7 days, I have 160 dummies. What is this kind of dummy? Can I delete it to optimize my system or my production instead of running without doing anything? So it is a way to see what kind of us have many more dummy and what kind of application use dummy job and so on. And you can see the job executed for 7 days. We have OS job that put in a dummy. If it's a good reason or not, so I can go deeper and see what's going on. And if I do the same in 1 year to see, okay, on my environment, what kind of dummy I have during 1 year, the number could be huge, and it's some kind of execution that's running for, let's say, nothing. And we can see why. Maybe it's a test job, maybe it's just a job that we put on dummy to clean up, so we didn't do it because that's not impact our system for now. But at the end, we have many of jobs depending on the job type putting in dummy, and you have the list of all the job running and the application that are going to do the dummy job, and you can make a cleanup or ask to your team to do the cleanup depending on what's going on. And last dashboard, it's regarding the job execution, depending on the plan that we execute. So we can see what's going on my job execution on the last 7 days and the time frame, what kind of OS, and depending on the day, if the job are running early morning or late on the night, so we can focus and see, okay, let's have a time to make some improvement depending on what the plan is. So instead having all the job running at between 12 to 1 hour, so we can adjust and see, okay, for instance, at midnight, so we have a number of jobs running at the same time, and for the 5, I have a few. So let's see what's happened if I move some certain job to run in a certain time, if it's okay for us or not. So we can have all this type of application.
Mamadou,
yep.
Am I audible? Yeah, I would appreciate if you can please show the search and add filter on the left side, which includes the Cabana.
Okay, search here.
Yeah.
So it is a search. So you can use search as a granularly, like all the application that you have on your Contol-M. It could be application and statue, execute day, hour, depending on what you are looking for. Or if you are good enough to do the Kibana query language, you can make a Kibana query language to trigger and have a job or host or whatever, depending on what are you looking for. I'm looking the host and the operator is, and I look all the hosts here, so I can check all the hosts that I'm looking for to see what's going on. here I have 0. If I go to the, let's say 40 days to see, okay, with the same filter, during last 7 days, I have 2008 execution just for this servers. And what kind of execution I have is all related here. You can export this dashboard and send it or talk about with your admin team or operational team to see what's going on this server. Because this server, we have a lot of job running on, why this one, and have a talk. Make sense? Also question? Workforce base of platform task. Yes. So this question regarding, that's Umayyan will respond. Okay, thank you.
Umayyan already answered that, yeah.
I was thinking that's a question.
Okay.
Do we have other question or should we move on?
So I'm taking the screen back, Mamadou. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay. My screen is, you can see my screen, right, guys?
Yes.
Thank you. So basically, Workflow Insights, it provides us a meaningful data which we can observe. We get great depth in terms of visibility into workflows performance, into specifically the performance of our the performance and agility of the complete orchestration framework, the complete system of the automation. We can it becomes very much visible, like Mamadou has shown, that you can look how many jobs are executed on a single agent within a specific time frame. You have the options to do a Kibana query language search, or you can just drag and drop and create your own search filters for specific executions. If, let's suppose you wanted to see SAP execution within a specific period of time, or for a specific ERP solution, you wanted to see that how much jobs are executed within a week or on every month. And so you can have all those analysis available to you. And on basis of that, you can go and optimize your system, which ultimately yields a value to your business, which a swift, a better performance for your complete orchestration platform. So this is the end of Workflow Insight, and I would like to hand over the control to Flora for presenting the Contol-M V21 post roadmap, basically. Flora?
Thank you, Munir.
You can share your screen, and
sure.
Platform is all yours, ma'am.
Give me a second. And please tell me if you can see my screen.
Yeah, I do.
Perfect. Let me turn my camera on. Okay, everything's set up. So good morning. Sorry, just a second. I can't see my screen now. Give me just a second.
Take your time.
Okay.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, now
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So good morning, everyone again. My name is Flora Tramontano. I'm based in Italy. And I'm working for BMC in the solution marketing team for 5 years now. And today I'm pleased to deliver the Contol-M roadmap. So let's get started. Oh, before getting started, because this is a roadmap, it begins with a legal notice, just to remind you that what you're going to see is BMC confidential, is not a BMC commitment, and is subject to changes. Now we can get started. So Control-M strategy focuses on three major areas, three major pillars, let's say, and which are the automation everywhere, the Sas and Cloud Solutions, and the data-driven enterprise. And as you can see, those pillars are in line with the AD strategy presented by Humayun in the beginning of the event. Let me spend a few words on each of these three pillars. Automation everywhere is, the core business of Control-M. We have always been trying and will continue to try to help our customers to automate applications, data, file transfer where possible, and to offer the automation to as many teams as possible in the organization. Now, what does it mean that we want to continue to invest on this pillar? It means that we want to be sure that Control-M continues to be the best orchestration framework, and we want to do so by continuing to implement all the automation and orchestration features that you require. The second pillar is Sas and Cloud Solution. This means that we want to follow and support your evolution to the cloud. We want you to be able to deploy Control-M in the cloud. And we are not also investing on Helix Control-M. You have seen Helix Control-M in the previous presentation, which is our SaaS solution, the SaaS offering of Control-M. But we also want to help our Control-M on-premise customer to install Control-M in the cloud, which primarily means containerization. And then the third pillar is data-driven enterprise, which means that we want to continue to play a key role when it comes to orchestrating enterprise-wide data pipeline. And we want to be sure that those data pipelines can be accessed by technical people like developers, data engineers, machine learning engineers. So these are the three major investment pillars. And by the way, they are not independent. As you can see in the picture here, every pillar merged into another one. They are all linked. And then after all, it does not make sense to focus on SaaS and cloud solution if we do not aim to continue to be the best orchestration framework. So they are all merged into other ones. And now let's go into some more details for each of these pillars. And let's get started with SaaS and cloud solution. So let me zoom on this pillar. So what's in here? The first two bullets refer to Helix Control-M. One is Helix migration, which means we want to ensure that customers who decide to migrate from Control-M on-premise to Helix Control-M can do that in the easiest and as automated as possible way. And then there is another topic on hybrid architecture, on-premise and SaaS. So the first bullet was on-premise to SaaS. The second bullet is on-premise and SaaS. So let me explain a little bit what this hybrid architecture is about. We want to ensure that customers running workflows on-premise and on Helix Control-M can do that, can manage those workflows from a single interface. So in other words, we want to provide a web interface that our customers can use to administer, define, schedule, monitor their workflows, regardless of whether they run on-premise or on Helix Control-M. And this is intended to help organizations, maybe large organizations who want to start adopting Helix while still running in parallel Control-M on-premise. So, for example, you may want to, migrate some of your workflows to Helix Control-M while keeping other workflows on-premise, or you may want to put the new workflows on Helix Control-M. And with this idea of hybrid architecture, you will be able to do so from a single point of control with the best customer experience, regardless of how many Control-M on-premise and Helix Control-M instances you're running. Oh, and by the way, this is also helpful for mainframe customers who can run Control-M on-premise on the mainframe and can put, for example, the new workflows on Helix Control-M. The third topic is about our intention to help Control-M on-premise customer to install parts or all Control-M in the cloud through containerization. And in fact, we are going to containerize Control-M agents shortly after version 21.1, and then we will continue to containerize the other components. Let's move on. MFTE in the cloud. So we are thinking, this is something we are discussing right now. It's an idea at its early stage, because we are discussing what to do with MFTE enterprise component when it comes to Helix Control-M. You may know that today, Helix Control-M can manage internal file transfer. And what about external file transfer, you would say? So we need to implement MFTE in the cloud. But of course, the idea of replicating all the MFTE components as close as possible to Helix Control-M, and the MFTE components include a lot of architecture, gateway, hubs. So this idea of replicating everything to Helix Control-M does not make a lot of sense, because we are not going to take any of the Control-M benefits. We are envisioning a better idea of delivering a new MFTE Helix service. So something that customer can subscribe, and then they are able to transfer external files with other customers that have subscribed to the same service. Again, this is at its early stages. This is an idea, and we're still discussing about this. Next element is optimize workflows using workflow data solution. I think this is pretty interesting. So first of all, what are those workflows data solution? They are all those solutions, and some of which already exist on premise and some of which are new. Those all solutions that rely upon workflow data to function. For example, the archiving or the reporting or the workflow insights. They need workflow data to function properly. Now, we are envisioning to provide all these workflow data solutions as a service. So the first solution that will be provided as a service will be the workload archiving. And that will happen in the version 21.2. And then we're going to provide all the other solutions as a service. Very well connected to this idea is the idea of workflow optimizer. And again, I'm going to spend a few words. Workflow optimizer is an umbrella of solutions. The first solution being the workflow insights that you have just seen demoed by Mamadou and Munir. So as you have seen, workflow insights is all about providing you with insights that help you to understand if there are possible performance degradation, possible SLA breaches, mainly related to workflow changes in your environment. Now, you can use those insights to take proactive remedial action and avoid the performance degradation or the SLA violations. The next action, the next step is to automate this reaction. And we are working a lot on anomalous log detection, on correlation of events to find root causes of error. For example, by analyzing your workflow data, you can notice that when a job fails in one environment, there is always another job that is late in another environment. And by correlating this anomalous condition, you can find root causes of errors. So we want to analyze this workflow data, but in this way, we are going into the machine learning area. And machine learning solution, machine learning tools need a lot of data to work properly. And our idea is consolidate all the archiving data, all the reporting data and workflow insights data into one single database where we can apply machine learning to finally optimize, to finally automate recovery action, optimization actions in your Contol-M environment. And the last topic is this idea of event-driven workflow. So how we are envisioning to implement this event-driven solution. First of all, we want to make sure that Contol-M integrates easily with all the event-driven systems in your environment. And then we want you to be able to define events in Contol-M and define the actions that you want those events to trigger. For example, you want to trigger a certain action, you want to trigger a certain workflows when a Kafka event occurs. So you will be able to define this Kafka event in Contol-M. Contol-M monitors for the occurrence of this event. And as soon as the event occurs, Contol-M triggers the actions that you have defined in reaction to the Kafka event. So this is the idea. And we want also to create something that is symmetrical, which means events trigger jobs, but jobs must trigger events. So jobs, when they end in error, when they generate anomalous condition, trigger event. And so Contol-M will be, more pervasive because it will be orchestrating not only planned workflows, but also unplanned conditions. Hope this makes sense. Let me go to the next pillar, some more details on data-driven enterprise. So with this pillar, we want to make sure that developers, data engineers are on board with utilizing Contol-M to drive their data pipelines. So what do we want to do? Basically, two things. First of all, we want to provide them with the possibility to access Contol-M capabilities through the languages of their choice. And something is already happening. For example, we have just delivered the Python client. The workbench is going under continuous enhancements. And the other thing that we want to do is integrating as many data technologies as possible. And for example, we have just integrated Airflow so that developers and data engineers can manage their Airflow-based pipeline from within the wider orchestration of Contol-M. And the last point is this move, promote, and deploy workflow. So we are talking about data-driven. Of course, in a data-driven environment, you want to move workflows quickly. Now, this item is linked to the idea of hybrid architecture that I've just discussed. So when we get to this hybrid architecture, where you are able to manage your workflows from a single point of control, whether they run on-premise or they run on Helix Contol-M, the next step that you want to do is move workflows around, of course, easily. Now imagine, for example, that you will have, blue folder for workflows running on mainframe, red folders for workflows running on premise, and green folders for workflows running on Helix Control-M. You want to drag and drop workflows, right? Now, there is a lot of logic, a lot of effort behind this movement of workflows. Think about the administrators must be able to give you the authorizations to move a workflow from on-premise to Helix. And when you move a workflow from on-premise to Helix, the workflow must respect the site standards defined on Helix. So there is a lot of logic to be implemented but by the way, that is the vision where we want to be, the point, the goal that we want to reach. And the third pillar was about automation everywhere. Again, in this pillar are going to be embraced a lot of feature. This focuses on conversion. Actually, there are still many customers running mixed schedulers, some workload automation solutions, and they come to us and ask us to help them to migrate to Control-M. And there are two things that we want to do. First of all, we want to be sure that all the capabilities are there in Control-M to enable this conversion. And secondly, we are going to continue to invest in these conversion tools. There is one more area which does not fall in any of these pillars. It includes the accelerated release cycle that I'm going to describe in a couple of slides, the compliance to ISO 27001 SOC2, which is in our short-term roadmap. And we are going to implement another data center for Helix Control-M in Europe. The location has not yet been decided, but we're going to provide another data center. Now we have one in US, another one will be in Europe. I'm going to stop for a second to ask if any questions. Okay, so next. So far have been talking about strategic teams. This is another level of dimension that we consider when defining our roadmap. This is the functional teams. So what are the functional teams? Where are we going to invest in the next 2 years? Helix Control-M, of course, the level of investment will depend on your choice to take that path. We want to ensure a great user experience. This is very important for us. We want to make things easier, as easy as possible for you. And those of you who have seen Helix Control-M or will see Helix Control-M will notice that there is a lot of effort to accelerate the ramp up. There is a lot of tools like welcome pages, step-by-step tooltip, functional flow documentation, how-to videos, all this stuff to enhance the user experience. Then there is a lot of focus on integrations. I think I saw a presentation on integration factory. And by the way, I think I have something more on integration in the next slide. We are investing a lot on moving data around easily, which is all about managed file transfer and managed file transfer enterprise components. You have seen a lot of announcements in Control-M 21, and you will see a lot of enhancements in Control-M 21.1. We want to continue to deliver tools to developers to engage them with Control-M. And then the last functional team is the core business of Control-M. So we want to continue to implement core features. And of course, this will include all the features to get to the workflow optimizer. Now there is one more slide, but I'm looking at the watch, and I won't go into all those details, I promise. even because I've almost covered all these ideas. So I will spend some words just on some topics that I've not covered yet. I've been talking about our intention to focus on migration from Control-M on-premise to Helix, hybrid configuration. So what we are doing here is to move most functionality to the web, enrich Helix gradually. Why most functionality and not all? Because there are functionalities that are not relevant for Helix. Okay, I didn't talk about this. This is our desire to make it easy to deploy and manage agents. So as you have seen, the agent is the only component that a Helix Control-M customer has to deploy. And because we want to enhance the user experience, we want also to enhance the user experience when deploying the agent. So our idea is to reduce the size of the agent, but another important idea is to move some agent functionality into the managed services. So you will not see those functions. They will be managed by BMC in the cloud. And so you will need to install a minimum agent component. Create a scalable, cost-effective architecture. This is about architectural changes that we are putting in our roadmap to increase the scalability in Helix Control-M. So we want to move to 100,000 executed daily jobs nowadays to a few millions of daily jobs executed in a few years, in a couple of years. I won't go into many details with these ensuring a great experience functional areas because there is a lot in common with Helix Control-M functional area. Maybe I want to spend just a few words on this deprecate desktop client because this triggers a lot of questions typically. So there's not a precise date when we will deprecate the desktop client. It even depends on you. So when most of our customers will be able to accomplish all their functions through the web interface, that will be the right time to deprecate the desktop client. Okay, I've already talked about this other item. This is just a BMC initiative, Web UI as single point of entry. It's an initiative to provide customers with like a single website where they can log in and find, for example, if you are a Helix Control-M customer, you will find the link to Helix Control-M as well as link to documentation and all other related assets. Is integration to services and apps. I've already talked about the event-driven integration factory. You have seen the integration factory, and I think from Munir, that's basically the idea of dedicating a team of developers, a team of people to do the only job to deploy integration. So these are monthly released integration. The new integration stress a lot cloud and data application, but we don't want to forget the, let's say, the legacy plugins, and we're going also to modernize the legacy plugins. For example, in 21.1, we are going to enhance the PeopleSoft plugin. This, I mean, I'm not going into details, but there is a lot in the roadmap about managed file transfer and managed file transfer enterprise components. Again, a lot to do to involve developers and data engineers to use Control-M for managing their data pipelines. APIs still continue to be delivered in monthly releases. I've been talking about this promotion and deployment. And of course, we want to continue to create tools for easy usage from developers. And this again is the heart of Control-M. So we will focus on features and conversion tools. Okay, this is other stuff, let's say architectural stuff. I want to spend a few words on this one, but I won't go into any detail. This is just to tell that we are going to adopt a different release model. We are going to deliver minor releases every 7 months. And then after 3 minor releases, there will be a major release. So a major release will be delivered after 2.5 years or so. And the idea is to help you to take advantage of new enhancements in an easier way. In fact, those minor releases can be installed just like Fixpack. So you can easily upgrade. But unlike Fixpack, they contain small enhancements. So you will be able to take advantage of small enhancements with an easy upgrade. And then after 2.5 years, hopefully you will be able to take an upgrade effort. I think that's all I wanted to cover. And I'm right on time. A few minutes for questions, and then I'll get back to Munir. So do you have any questions?
The chat is fairly quiet for now, Flora. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Flora. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Flora. Thanks, Munir. Thanks, Mamadou. It was very insightful for what you guys presented today. A big thank you to the BMC team. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to drop that through to your Blue Turtle account manager. We'll definitely follow up with you around that. I hope you guys found that as insightful as we did, and we look forward to discussing your future strategy plan with Contol-M as we go along. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for joining, and thank you for your time, and we'll chat soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye, guys.
Ciao.